Hi everyone, welcome to the Confident Hypnotherapist. I'm Lawrence Akers, and this week we're going to be chatting to the incredible Karl Smith. Now, if you don't know much about Karl, all I can tell you is that he's incredibly direct with his hypnosis. He doesn't faff around. It's no slow relaxation techniques going on here. And he's not a big fan of scripts either, as you'll find out in this chat. So I really hope that you are soak up the energy that Karl offers in this. Grab what you can from it, sit back and enjoy, and here's Karl Smith. Hi everyone, welcome to the Confident Hypnotherapist. This week I'm really honoured to have Karl Smith as my guest. Karl's from the UK Hypnosis Academy, creator of the Kinetic Shift. And apart from that, if you haven't been on YouTube and checked out the incredible amount of amazing content that Karl has created, you really need to get onto it and have a look. We're talking about full sessions going on there, some incredible content that others would be asking you to pay for. Like, the quality of that is just amazing. And so, Karl, thank you so much for joining me.
You're more than welcome.
I guess I was really keen to start off with to ask about your background. What was it that brought you to become a hypnotherapist in the first place?
So, I mean, I started my life in a place called Great Yarmouth, which is on the east coast of England. Young pup growing up. Always wanted to leave that small fishing village and join the military. I come from a military background. My parents weren't military, but all my uncles and aunties were. So they used to come back with tales of, getting drunk, living around the world, all that type of stuff, So as a young lad, you're quite impressionable and you want to do it. So when I got to about 20, I left school. I was in the army twice, actually. I was in the first time when I was 16 and I got discharged after a few months for a pathetic injury. And then I got out, went and did some civil engineering, then went back into the army, and I did a 12-year career in the army. I spent 12 years in the British Army. And then I left the army on September the 3rd and then joined the police on September the 5th, literally 2 days. I had 2 days between careers. So then I carried on there, and I went into like the counter-terrorism element on firearms. I went into firearms training. So for those people that are not in the UK, it's SWAT officer type stuff. I was doing all that type of stuff. So I was doing all of that. But on August the 4th, 2006, while I was still in the police, I was in an incident with a drink driver, a DUI, a drunk driver. He'd been at a funeral all day. He'd been, just on the booze, looking to go get some more booze. He lost control of the car. He slammed it into the front of my next door neighbours and our front of our house. I ran outside. Went to grab him, thought I had superpower heroes, wrapped my hand around the seatbelt, tried to punch him out of it, but it didn't quite work. And I got stuck underneath the car. I was dragged underneath the car. I was then popped out of the car. I then got hit again. He drove over me the second. The first time when he reversed over me was an accident. The second time, they believe, was on purpose. I was still in black, so I'd only just finished work that day, so I was in black uniform. So a series of events started it. And I had no interest in hypnosis. And the reason I mentioned Great Yarmouth is because Great Yarmouth is a holiday resort. So my only reference to hypnosis was watching a guy called Ken Webster. Ken Webster was a stage hypnotist here in England. So when I went to CBT, that failed me. It made it worse. When I went to counselling, Jesus, that just even made it even worse. For psychotherapists that are listening, this isn't psychotherapy bashing. It's not that. It's about the people that work with me were crap. That's the line, right? And we get that. We get it in hypnosis, in psychotherapy. We get it in all types. Courses for courses. I'm all for that. So I don't want people to think I'm psychotherapy bashing. I'll do that later. But the thing is that that CBT and counselling were not for me. And a police colleague said, well, have you tried hypnosis? No, hypnosis, my arse. I'm not doing that. I'm not going near that. I had these visions of Ken Webster, the thing from Great Yarmouth. I'm not going out there and crapping a square egg and all those type of things. And I'm not going out there, getting naked and doing all of these things. He went, no, you daft. It's not that. It's not that. And he proceeded to educate me on what really hypnosis is. And that's the key thing about it. And that's what happened. He educated me, and then he did a session with me, and it just blew my mind. Literally did blow my mind. Actually, I felt like a big Mount Vesuvius. It was just like all just pouring out. All of the stuff that I'd done, all of my military stuff, all of my my policing stuff, the car accident, all the things that had been compressed in my life, just all poured out. And I just got the bug. So I ended up, while I was still serving as a police officer, started doing some work for police charities and helping out there. Then eventually I started going on to hypnosis courses. And then I just built myself up. My first ever proper course was one of these 10-month elongated, lots of hours, all very good on paperwork to show the academia world how great they are, but that on the theory side, but practically probably the worst course I think I've ever attended in my life. In fact, I think I've enjoyed chemical, biological, nuclear warfare far better than what that course was. I got more. So to be quite honest, is that for anyone listening, just because a course says it has 1 million hours in it, or it supersedes 7,000 hours on this, that doesn't mean quality. It just means quantity. You know, that's the difference between quality and quantity, isn't it? I was having a discussion with somebody this morning about this, about an association that you would know about, actually, and about how many hours. And I said, look, that doesn't mean quantity. I mean, I know the people that are involved in certain associations and made up professional bodies, and I get that. If you want to be part of that, you do that, but I'm not. And I was trying to explain to somebody that just because you're in this association doesn't mean that the quality of training is any better than somebody who does a 10-day course. So I ended up getting into hypnosis and just going for it. You know, I did that 10-month course, which was absolutely useless, script led, and we all know that scripts are useless. And then just building up, and I started working with a guy called Jonathan Chase, who's in England.
I've read some of his books. Yes.
Yeah, I worked with Jonathan for about 2 years. I went to Vegas with Jonathan. I had the privilege. He really wanted to get me on his way, and I think a few of us that worked with Jonathan at the time, we just wanted to make our own name, and Jonathan had his name, and I just wanted to make my name, and so I ended up just doing my own thing, working with a guy called Chris Gillies, and me and Chris did a lot of work with each other, and then Chris wanted to go another way, and these things happen. We were still very good friends and stuff, and then I ended up with the UK Hypnosis Academy. And the long story short is that because I used to be a firearms instructor, a SWAT officer instructor, I used to teach people how to do that. I've got a teaching background. I've got teaching qualifications and all that, so we understood curriculums, assessments, and stuff like that. So when we do our courses and stuff, they have a pattern, they have a path. Which is why we do what we do. And the long story short is that we're now in 2020, and I've been out of the police, I think 4 years. I think it's 4 years now I've been out of the police, and just been a full-time hypnotherapist. Nothing more, nothing less. I don't have any other income. I'm just a hypnotherapist, and that's it. So I built my career. That's how I built my career. So from a small market town to the army, to being a SWAT officer in the police, to getting run over by a drink driver, I've now taught in over 25 countries now, and including Australia. This time last week, this time last year, I was in Australia teaching. So yes, it's been an amazing journey. So I always tell people the worst day of my life was the best day of my life,
because it started all that change. And
it started a journey that I never foresee.
Well, it'd be easy to assume that someone who is ex-military, ex-police force would be naturally really, really confident. Were you when you started out, or how did you tap into that? So
I think in the military, you have to, I went to every single, I think I caught every single war zone that we decided to stick our little beaks into while I was in there. So I went done all the Iraqs, the Afghan supports, the Kosovos, the Bosnias, the Northern Islands, all of that. I did all of that. Cyprus UN tours, did all of that. So yeah, you have to have confidence in those. But I think what happens is it's a false confidence. It's behind the body armor. So you're still not you wear body armor and you've got a gun and you think you're double R, but actually you're not. You're still a human. Behind the body armor, you're still a human. Mm. So that bravado, that piece that you're doing there, that's all well and good. And so I wasn't particularly confident. Now looking back on it, I wasn't a particularly confident fellow. So when I joined the police, you then do it again. So you do this whole confidence thing. But then when I became an instructor and I was asked to, in fact, let me just come back. When I just mentioned nuclear, biological, chemical warfare, it's because I was an instructor in it in the army. And when I went for the instructor's role, it was all well and good. But when I stood in front of people, my heart would go through the chest. I'm sure there's people that are watching this that know that feeling, that, oh my God, the impending doom, and I'm going to get sucked up and all that. I used to be like that. I was terrible. I was really terrible. I used to get into panic attacks over it when I was teaching, but you soon get over it and, and do that. Then I joined the police and then I became a firearms instructor. And that's when I realised that actually I wasn't a confident lad. I really wasn't. And I was being put in situations and teaching lessons that were horrendous. And I was having that horrible churning feeling. But during my SWAT time, my police firearms time, I have to do it for different countries. I have to put it out like that. Is that when I was doing that role there, I got involved in that police charity, and it's called the PFOA, if anyone's interested. It's called the Police Firearms Officers Association. And the long story short is that I built my confidence working within the charity and doing things that way, and then doing presentations and getting involved in what we call post-incident. So I've been involved in every single police shooting or death in custody in the United Kingdom since 2005, or had some involvement as in periphery work support officer to those people, because it's quite a close-knit community. In England, if there's an incident, your name's not bounded around the public. You get anonymity. So we work with those people. Mm-hmm. And so I built my confidence up, and then I started, going from there. I had to go over it. I had to keep working at it to build my confidence up, and until eventually, coming back to the charity work, I became an SME. I became a subject matter expert in what they call post-incident within my police force. So I had the confidence, I had the ability, and I had the knowledge that when I was stood there, if I got asked an awkward question or I got into an awkward situation, I knew I could get out of it, because people looked up to me as like that. I didn't have to bullshit anyone. I didn't have to lie. I just knew what I was doing. It was a flow, and it just went and just kept on going and going and going until eventually that then fed into my own personal self-esteem and my own confidence and my own lifestyle. And that's where it started to build, really. And, working with the police charity, doing presentations and being mentored and shown certain things really, really helped me. And it developed what you've got now. It's just this bloody machine that just, I don't care. I don't care if it's in front of 5 people, 500 people, or 5,000 people is the biggest one that I've ever done. It doesn't bother me. And it's about knowing that you're not going to die on stage. You're not going to be sucked into a little hole. And it's about nurturing that inner you, that part that, and I come back to the body armor part as well. It's about realizing that we are just all human. We all have failures. And if we do make a cock up, nobody's going to shoot you for it. Well, hopefully not anyway. But the thing is that, that's how I did it. And it's just about, it's about just not giving up. I'm for anyone who does horoscopes, I'm a Leo, so I never give up anyway. Even if I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. I never give up. But the thing is that I never gave up, and I never gave up belief that I could do it. I never was a showman. I never was a show person, but I've developed into a show person, which now allows me to have my YouTube channel where I can be me, and then do it that way. And I think as well is that I never tried to conform to, coming back to this, associations, accrediting bodies. I never formed, when I was trying to do that in my work, I'd sit there and I was trying to do all this shit, and it wasn't me, it wasn't congruent. So I couldn't be congruent with my work. Then, and I'm just going to put a warning in here, if you watch any of my YouTube channels, I can hypnotize all day long. Doesn't bother me. I can stand on stage and do it. I can do it in a performance. I teach all over the world. It doesn't bother me. But there's one thing that I am is very, very direct. And with that directness comes an element of me that's just, you either like it or you don't like it. It's the same as anything. You're either an Ericksonian or an Elmanian. Yeah. I'm very much an Elmanian. I know Larry and Cheryl Elman very well, the son and
Yep.
daughter-in-law of them. I know them very, very well. And I'm a direct hypnotist as you can come. Yes, I can use the Ericksonian element if I need to, but I'm very direct. So that abrasive was what I was trying to work for. Then that abrasive nature comes over. Some people call it bullying, but it's not. People pay me for what I am, for who and how I deliver. And I'm not false with it. I will throw F-bombs into lessons, into stuff. I will swear all day long. I don't give a shit. I really don't care. And some people say it's unprofessional. Some people say it's not right. It's bullying. Well, that's good. You're not my client base. The people who want that come to me. I'm not interested in what you've got to say. If it doesn't fit with you, fine. And I think that coming back to that, I felt congruent with the way that I was working, not the way that they wanted me to work. And that's why I just went, no, I'm going to be me. And this is me, happy-go-lucky. I don't mind swearing. I'll have a laugh and a joke in a session. But when I became congruent with myself and the way that I did it, my confidence excelled through the roof. I wasn't trying to fit into some box. I wasn't trying to appease some certification or pay used to subscription fees to associations and all that type of stuff. I wasn't bothering with that because I had to conform to this falsehood. Whereas me, I can be me. I can do whatever I like. I can teach what I like. I can teach how I like. And so when I get YouTubers that say to me, oh, this is a great channel, that's brilliant. They're my customers. When I get clients that say to me, oh, this isn't mine. Oh, this is a disgusting channel. Good. Piss off and find something else. I'm not really interested. Go find what you need, not what I need. I'm giving a service to those people. So that congruency started to build and build. And then I always teach that to people as well, is that to be congruent with yourself. I think that coming back to this podcast, that's confidence is down to congruency. Yeah. It's congruency. It's not about, oh, I've got to do an hour-long consultation. From the moment somebody walks in my door to the moment they're hypnotized, we've clocked this. My team have watched me do the team that work in my office. From the moment that somebody walks in my door to the moment their eyes are shut is 7.5 minutes. And that is not even knowing them, never hypnotized them before. That's including my consultation.
That's remarkable.
Because when we look at it, consultations are a load of rubbish. We have to just face facts. Yeah. Your consultation, if you're taking more than 10 minutes, is a lie, and you're living a lie. Right? I'll tell you for why. Because the issue is never the issue. Any therapist with any weight behind them will tell you that a client, when they walk in the door, when they tell you what is going on, it's not what's really going on. Yeah. It's never about weight loss. It's never about smoking. It's never about the anxiety. They're just the waves. They're just up here going, oh, I'm going to do this. If this happens, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. So I'm a hypnotist. I am not a psychotherapist. So when you take the psychotherapy babble out of what we're doing and become a pure hypnotist, which I am nothing more, nothing less. Yes, I do EMDR. I do EFT, and I've got all these other little things that I've learned as I've gone around the world. That's all well and good. But front and foremost, I'm a hypnotist. And a hypnotist works with the subconscious, unconscious monkey brain, or the emotive part of the brain. So I'm not going to get that in a consultation. So the moment you whittle down your consultation and start working as a direct hypnotist or working directly with the issues that are really at hand, that's when your confidence will build.
That's just amazing. I love that. And you know what? I was thinking also, because, you know, you're renowned for being really direct with people. And I was wondering, you know, for me personally, I've always looked at direct hypnotists and thought, I'd love to learn that. Have I got the confidence for that? And I tend to wonder how many people might come to your trainings that are in that similar boat where they come on going, I really want to learn this stuff, but I need to get that push. What do you do for those sort of people to kind of get them to ramp it up? Is it something they can do? Is it something that they're stuck with?
The key thing is that if you ever go to my YouTube channel, there's an induction on there called the magnetic fingers, right? It's not my induction. Gil Boyne used to do it. I've just really just made it my own. But the magnetic fingers. Remember that hypnosis can be formed anyway. You can do it in a nightclub, you can do it in a bar, you can do it in a club. Now, there's people out there at the moment that are going, oh, no, but I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, which is a load of rubbish anyway, right? I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, rubbish. You're just hiding behind a made-up name, right? I get that. If it makes you feel comfortable, that's fine. That's brilliant. You've achieved a course in clinical hypnotherapy, but there is no such thing. right? Let's just get that out of the way. I've found that with my courses, whether I have people with PhDs that are fully qualified GP, general practitioners, all the way down to the beginner, the first element of my courses is impromptu hypnosis. Mm-hmm. On day one is impromptu hypnosis. If you can prove to your students, or you can prove that you can hypnotize anywhere, at almost any time, anywhere, anytime, then guess what? The switch just opens.
Yeah.
That's what we teach. You can have all these lovely little acronyms behind your name. You can have all these lovely certificates behind you. But if you do not have confidence, you are screwed. Yeah. And you can sit there and tell me that, you know, oh, I've done 700 hours and I've done this and I've done that. But have you got a script for bulimia? That's what happens in these groups. I've done 700 hours. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, but has anyone got a script for bulimia, please? You know, you're like, we shouldn't be working with that anyway, no. You know, because that's not the issue, never the issue. So why would you be asking for a script for that if you've got so many hours behind you? So the key fundamental thing that we do, it doesn't matter who they are, what they are. There's doctors, I have doctors, nurses, I have scientists coming on my courses. I have people, oh my God, I have Hollywood stars coming on my courses, and they all get the same, the confidence on day one. That is the most important thing. Screw Sigmund Freud, screw all of the other models and the techniques and the things that you need. That's rubbish. What you need is confidence first. Mm-hmm. You need the confidence, then the basis of then giving you the techniques. Not the techniques to build the confidence. That will come with that, but you need confidence first. And that's the key to why I like training the way I'm doing. And why, and I'll be brutally honest, I'm going to be a smart ass here, is that's why we have successful therapists, because they're taught that fundamentally first.
I absolutely agree with you. And I think some of the biggest problems with some of the trainings out there is that they don't teach that aspect of it first.
No, that's the thing.
That's why we have this course junkie kind of.
Yeah, because they're looking.
We keep looking for what's going to work. So
they're looking for the golden fleece. Yeah. They're looking for the golden fleece. When you look at it, EMDR, anything that we look, I'm going to quote Melissa Tears here. Mm-hmm. All this shit's made up. If you don't know who
Melissa, when she says that,
Melissa Tears, make sure you put T-E-R-S. Otherwise you get another one, which is useless. But the thing is that you get Melissa Tears, right? And all this shit is made up. And there was and you just got to, when you realise that, people go, well, I did a course the other day and it had an 8-step protocol, but I missed number 7 out. Who gives a shit? Who cares? Who gives a shit? And that's the thing about it, is that people get so caught up with this whole, and as you just go down the windy road, and then let go of all your trouble. It's just like, that's not hypnosis. That's why I hate and despise scripts. It is scripts. If anyone's ever been taught by scripts, request your money back from that training provider and go get retrained, because it's incompetence and failed psychotherapists trying to teach hypnosis. That's what that is.
You know what's funny is I think you're about the 6th person I've interviewed so far for this podcast, and that exact comment has come up in about 4 of them.
What's that?
About if you've gone somewhere for training and they pull out scripts or teach you via scripts, get out of that course, leave it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the right one.
It's failed psychotherapy. It's failed psychotherapists trying to teach an old hat model. Hypnosis is about, if anyone watches my work, I'm talking a lot on this because I'm trying to
be very content-free,
I'm all content-free.
Yeah.
So I dump them into hypnosis and I do what's called a mental detox. Go to my YouTube channel and go watch the mental detox. I dump them into hypnosis and ask the subconscious, unconscious to tell me what's really going on, not what they think is going on. And that's why I charge high, but I see less.
Yeah.
So I only see a client maybe once or twice for post-trauma. Now, a lot of people say to me, oh, you can't get rid of post-trauma in 1 or 2 sessions. No, I firmly believe that you can't. But what you can do is start the catalyst for that great new journey without the pain. That's the point. I'm not saying that you're going to get over it straight away. And don't forget, right, post-trauma is being handed out like Smarties at the present moment in time. Oh, I tripped over a stone, post-trauma. Oh, you've got that, oh, post-trauma. Oh, my goldfish died, oh, post-trauma. Yeah, it's just unbelievable at the moment. I was talking to an SAS guy the other day, and he'd been doing a conference. He'd been doing a speak at a regiment that had just come back from Afghanistan, and he said, right, I'm talking about post-trauma. And he just said, you know, the numbers are high. He goes, how many people in this room, in this auditorium, have been diagnosed with post-trauma? And he said, out of nearly 400 people in that room, only 1 or 2 people didn't put their hands up. No. It's because it's being bred into them. I'll tell you for why. Because it's all about the money. What they can do is if they diagnose them with post-trauma, it means they can signpost them off and get them off their books, because it's to get them off of the military and emergency services books, to get them off, so then they're not funding this shit. Somebody else can be funded to do it at a cheaper rate. And that's what it is. And it's disgusting. And anyone who wants to talk to me about that, I'm more than welcome to, because that's what I do as a career. I work with all the armies. I work with them. I work with LAPD, Las Vegas Police Department, every single police force in the United Kingdom, paramedics in England. I work with Australian police. I've even got a guy up in the Northern Territories who's a firefighter trying to get me in for a presentation up there as well. Hong Kong police, I work with that. You know, so that's my field. So I watch what these little political monkeys are doing. So while people are handing this shit down, they don't care. They really don't give a shit. And what they're doing is just handing a little parcel over to somebody else that's cheaper, that they can go, well, we did something about that. We did it. And you like that, you know, all you're doing is just causing a bigger backlog and belief systems that are just bullshit. Because that's what it is. People love living. I could sit here and talk about this stuff all day long, Lawrence. It's about building up belief systems, and that's what we do. Our jobs as hypnotists is to build up a belief system. That's why I believe the prestige is so huge in our work, the way that we deliver it, the way that we're animated, the way that we do things. So when somebody is given a label, they love that prestige of holding that label. So you've got to break that prestige. You've got to, it's like that hierarchy, Maslow's hierarchy of effects. It's part of their identity. So when people tell me they've got post-trauma, I said, well, where is it? And I said, just show me where it is. And they go, well, I ain't got it. And I go, well, you haven't got it then, have you? It's just a label you've been given. Simple as. So my job as a hypnotist is to come in and do that. And that's why I wrote a book. And this isn't a cheap plug, but that's why my book, No D in PTSD, was made. There is no disorder in post-trauma. There is none. And it's just bullshit. And I know I went through that stuff. And when it first started to become really, really, you know, socially acceptable to have post-trauma or shell shock or whatever you want to bloody well call it. But yeah, you know, that's an attempt. That's what I do. I do it on a daily basis. And you know, my job is to break down labels. But confidence comes through not certification, not associations. It comes from bodies coming through your door. Yeah. Now, my confidence, let's bounce back a bit. My confidence when I was working with that charity is because I was given access to lots and lots of people to work. And I worked for free. I was in a very lucky position. That's all well and good, yeah. I was a serving police officer and I was getting paid a wage. That's brilliant. And that was my job. I never foresee this being a full-time career. But I was getting to see people and work with people and then use that intuition. Because let's come back to this again. Let's do scripts again, shall we? If I do this, it's not very nice, is it? So when I do that's exactly, I'm not watching what you're up to. So if I do that, I'm not doing it. So it's, you can look, semantics, let's just turn it. But on the same token, I'm not looking at you. Whereas 100% of my vision, my intuition, the way that I'm watching people, the body language, the movements, those nuances that you're meant to be looking for, I'm watching. And that's what we teach. Because if you do this, and as you just wind down the road and see a unicorn standing there, it ain't going to cut the mustard. It's not going to cut the mustard. That's why I always maintain, and I'd like to know who the other trainers were, the other podcasters were, because it's quite ironic. I've not listened to them, but a pure hypnotist will not be taught with scripts. They will not teach with scripts. That is a fact. They work with a human, not a sheet of paper. If you're being told to go away and write scripts, I would seriously consider asking for your money back. And it's absolutely abhorrent. It's fraudulent. It's failed psychotherapy through the roof. It's failed psychotherapists desperately trying to bolt on something else when they're not. They're not. There's only a few handful of people who in England, and we're all trainers, and we all talk to each other. It's amazing, really, because the trainers actually talk in the background when you're on that international circuit.
Mm-hmm.
like Hypno Thoughts Live or any, the big ones and stuff like that. All the trainers talk, and it's we all get our ideas from them. So we're always talking about content free and about who it is. But in England, if somebody said to me, "I've done your training, who's next?" There's only a few handful of people I would hand them over to, because the rest of them are just a shower of shite. And I'm GHR and I'm GHSC and I'm part of this association. That just means you're a fucking retard, because I'll tell you now. I've made an international career. I've made an international career by being Karl Smith. So coming back full circle, I've made an international career by being congruent with myself, and that built my confidence.
And really passionate about what you stand for as well. That comes through so strong talking to you as well.
I'll tell you, Aaron, I love my career. I love it. It saved my life. And when people say that, it literally did save me from my life, because when I was suffering with the recurring nightmares and stuff like that, and I didn't have any other way, Jack Daniels and pregabalin and tramadol and high level dosage of medicated drugs were the only thing that were keeping me alive. And I really did I went out one night to go commit suicide. There's no two ways about it. I went out to go do myself over. I didn't tell anyone. And I went out to do it. But it was hypnosis that changed my life. So for me, it's personal. It really is personal. And that's why I love it. That's why it drives me. And that's why it upsets me when I see young hypnotherapists, young hypnotists that want to succeed being shit on by failed psychotherapists teaching with scripts and poor training. And it just irritates the crap out of me. It really does.
That raises an interesting question. If someone came to you and you could see that they've come from a kind of a scriptnosis background there, and they're saying to you, "I just don't feel like I'm getting the results I want with my clients," what would you suggest to them to do to kind of fill in that gap in what's missing for them?
I always, that is a daily question for me. Yeah, believe it or not, that is a daily question. I can tell you now that my phone is pinging in the corner over here, and the majority of my emails are, "Karl, I've been watching your YouTube channel and I was taught by this shower of shit, and can you show me how to do that?" And the only thing I can do is repetition. And I'm like Edison's light bulb. I really am. I've fucked up loads of times. I've cocked up loads and loads of times to get where I am. But you have to make those mistakes and then evaluate those mistakes and then not go, "Oh no, what have I done?" You just go, what did I do? What did I do there? What did I do? After each session, I do an autopsy. What did I do? Why didn't they go as quick? Why didn't they go? Oh, I was probably too fast off, or I probably didn't do the pre-talk enough. All right, no, I was doing it. And that's what happens. I sit there all day long, and it's got me into a position now where I can watch somebody and get them going. It's like now with you, there's compliance with you right now with the way that I'm working.
Yep.
Because you're just doing this. That's all you're doing. That's the first step. That's the first step before, because the induction is the last phase of the induction. The actual doing that is the last phase. Your pre-talk and the compliance are so important. If you get the compliance right, a 3 yes set. So, do you want to go into hypnosis? Are you ready to make some perfect positive lifestyle changes? Are you ready to ditch those old sensations from the past and all that lot, to move on to the future and get a yes, then the rest of it is just compliance. You just keep that compliance. Like now, you're just nodding just as I just talk.
Absolutely agree, yeah.
Right? So once I've got that, then I get the pre-talk in, which is hypnosis. In a moment, you're going to hypnosis. In a moment, you're going to feel hypnosis. In a moment, you feel that hypnosis. That's why I never use the word relax in a session, except you can relax now, but next phase is I never ever use the word relax. Relaxation and hypnosis are two different things. Yep. And I'm a hypnotist. I don't want relaxotherapy. I want hypnosis. So the key thing is that I always use the word hypnosis. Let that hypnosis go down your head. Let that hypnosis go into your shoulders. Let that hypnosis go into the tips of your toes, and let that hypnosis go back up to the top of your head. And that's the way I work it that way. If your compliance and your pre-talk are right, the induction is the end phase. A lot of people think that that's the start of the hypnosis. It's not. It's the end. It's the belief system. It's a theatrical belief. It's a theatrics. That's all it is. Your induction is theatrics. It's a pepper pot. I could sit here and shake this pepper pot up and down like that and just say, on the third tap, you'll go deeper into hypnosis. You don't need them all. And when you look at Elman, he used to do it with cigarettes. Elman used to sit and go, On the third puff, you're going to go deeper into hypnosis. It had nothing to do with the third puff. They were already in hypnosis. That was a trip into it. So we went in like that, and then they go. Because he told them that's what he needed them to do. Same as magnetic fingers. When your fingers come together, you go deeper into hypnosis. It's the pre-talk that's the most important, not the induction per se. And that's why, even if Larry will tell you this, and I was one of Larry's trainers. I'm an Elman trainer. So, you know, I've spent lots of time with Larry in Denmark and in America and all that lot doing all this. Is that even his father never used the 7 steps of the Elman induction because the pre-talk was so vitally important. People get stuck up that I can't do the aphasia stage. Well, screw it. Nobody needs it. Who cares?
I think that's the stage or that part of it that people really get tripped up the most anyway.
Yeah. Just ignore it. Just bin it off. And that's the key thing. You've got to make it your own. If people are watching this, I want you to go do it. I want you to go watch my pre-talk video on YouTube, right? Then go look at Maggie Fingers. But on your pre-talk now, that's where your confidence will come because they'll drop like flies, literally like flies. People will drop like flies if your pre-talk's right. That's the key fundamental thing. And then go practice silly things like every time I drop this £10 note, every time I drop this £10 note, you'll feel your eyes getting heavier and heavier. And you watch what happens when you play and you don't conform to the bullshit ideology of associations and accreditation, which there's none in Australia, are there? There's not governmentally.
Oh, it's not government. No.
No, it's not governmental. Same as in the UK, same as in the US, except certain states you have to be a doctor, a PhD, or a reverend to do it. So that's certain states to become a hypnotherapist, but you can still practice as a hypnotist. But it's the same. It's the same all over the world, really. And people buy into this ideology that the associations are going to save them. My personal opinion is save you. Look, if you want to be part of it, it makes you feel good to be part of a clan. Brilliant. All the best to you. But I would rather suggest that you would probably get a better Facebook ad out of it.
Yeah, I'd say so.
At the cost of your annual subscription, I reckon you'll get more clients by doing a Facebook ad.
I guess I'm consciously aware of the time, and I know that you have someone coming shortly. One last question before we go.
Yeah.
You know, knowing what you know now in your career, if you could go back in time to when you were just starting, what advice would you give that earlier version of yourself?
Don't do a 10-month bullshit course. Don't waste your time and energy on one key thing I'm going to say, social proof.
Yep.
Find a trainer that is prepared to socially prove themselves there and then. That's why my next diploma, it's got 40 people on it, right? And that's in November. The next one is in April, and that's already loading up already. Why? Because I socially prove myself. I educate people. Let me come back to that very bit at the beginning when I was talking about that police officer. I educate people what hypnosis really is, not what they think it is or have a mythology over, right? And you do that with your clients. You educate them. Put videos on there as well. Get loads of videos on there. But let me just come back to your question. Yeah, I would look for somebody who socially proves themselves that they can do it. Yeah. Not badges, not accreditations. And look, I'm very good friends with people in the associations in Australia, and I love them dearly. And I'm not going to mention names, but you know who you are and those people associations. You know my thoughts and feelings on it, and you know that I'll always support you. So those people down in Australia, especially, that know me in those associations, I hope you know it's me that's talking. Anyway, they know. But the thing is that I would strongly recommend that you find people social proofing. That's my biggest thing. Not look for the badges. Because confidence first, it comes back to what I was saying earlier. It's about confidence. And there's nothing worse than being taught. This is how I was taught the Elman induction on my 10-month course. And as you just hold their hand, that's right, your hand, and then drop it down, drop your hand, close your eyes. And then you just do that was how I was taught the Elman induction. And Dave Elman would turn in his fucking grave if he saw that. Because you have to be fluid. You have to have the confidence. And that's all really good for me to talk about it. I've failed many times to get where I am now. I ask your viewers to fail as many times as they can until they get that congruent stage in themselves. That's all I ask. So don't go chasing badges.
Failure.
Yeah. don't chase badges and certificates, chase congruence. That's what I would say. Be congruent with yourself. Be you. There's only one you on the planet. There's only one me. Thank fucking God. But on the same token, I'm me. What you see is what my family get all day long, you know, and my friends and family. Anyone watching this knows that that's who I am. When I start talking about hypnosis, I get more excited and more into it. But I don't conform, and that me not conforming to bullshit has allowed me to have an amazing career, working in Hollywood, working in Los Angeles, working in Reykjavik, working in working with very, very famous pop stars, working on Australian TV, doing, I've done bloody loads of stuff, and it's been brilliant. You know, and I work with people that can't afford my services, and I work with those in LA and Hollywood that can afford my services and do very, very well. And that's the thing, because I don't conform. And you know, good luck to the associations and those people that are watching this from down under that know me well. You know I love you dearly, but on the same token, you know my opinions on this, and it's a case of that's what needs to be done. That's where it needs to sit. The associations need to change from this archaic bullshit Freudian look, and we've got 1 million hours of training to. We need confidence. Yeah. We need confidence in our people, and then make them their own, not drones. Mm-hmm. All right.
If people want to reach out to you, Karl, or come and find you online, where can they find you?
You can type in, if you go to my YouTube channel, it's UK Hypnosis Academy, UK Hypnosis Academy. Or if you type in www.ukhypnosisacademy.com or .co.uk, you'll find me there. Or if you type in Karl Smith Hypnotherapy, I answer to both the emails, but mainly the Academy one as well. And if you go to Facebook, I've got a group called Hypnotic Masterminds, and there's tons of free lessons in there. There's tons of free stuff. My YouTube channel, I'm going to be doing some stuff today, funny enough, and then going from there. But yeah, you know, I'm always there to help, and like, you know, I'll help people with these type of things as well. It's about the profession. It's about getting a message out there about you know. We don't have to conform to bullshit to make a successful career. In fact, not conforming to that bullshit gives you a successful career.
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time. I
can't
thank you enough for that. I really hope anyone watching this has managed to get that same level of enthusiasm that you had to really go out there and do some great work.
Yeah, cool. No, it's great. It's been great. And, you know, like I said, I'm not here to offend people. I'm not here to do that. It's my personal opinions. They're my own personal opinions. They may not be shared by people that work with me in the academy. But on the same token, I'm being congruent. I'm telling you, after all these years of working in this profession, that's my firm belief. And it's done me well by sticking by that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again. And everyone watching, we'll see you next time.